Hi folks, I trust I find you well. Welcome back to yet another exciting edition of Straight Talk with Obert Gutu on YouTube. On this very nice sunny Monday morning, we are going to talk about the topical issue of diversity. How to survive in a world full of diversity. I think we all know that wherever you are in this part of the world, or in the world as a whole, the world is globalized, and it is still globalizing, and there's a lot of diversity. There's ethnic diversity, there's racial diversity, there's cultural diversity, there's religious diversity. So you find that particularly in the big cities of the world, cities like London, New York, Milan, Chicago, Berlin, and even here in Africa, cities like Johannesburg or even Harare, there's a lot of cultural, ethnic, racial, and religious diversity. So you find that this is a situation then that is putting the world on another level, where people have to learn to coexist even with other people who might not belong to their own ethnic background, or their own racial background, or their own religious background, and their own cultural background. And these are some of the issues actually that have led to instability in certain regions of the world, sometimes even leading to war, where there's lack of tolerance of ethnic diversity, lack of tolerance of racial diversity, lack of tolerance of cultural diversity, lack of tolerance of religious diversity. Just a few days ago, there was this unfortunate incident where a teacher in France, in Paris, was beheaded, and in a typical case of maybe also religious diversity, or lack of religious diversity, because it is reported that the young man who decapitated this teacher was just an 18-year-old who felt that perhaps the teacher had insulted his religion, the Islamic religion, and he then did something that was utterly gruesome, decapitating the teacher. And this is still topical news as I speak to you this Monday morning. So these are some of the issues that we have to learn to debate, and we have to learn to agree that there's no way in the world now where you can have homogeneity to say, look, this is a place where you only find people of one ethnic background, people of one racial background, people of one cultural background, or people of one religious background. The major religions of the world: the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, Buddhism, all sorts of things are happening, and there's Judaism as well. And we have to learn to be able to coexist regardless of and in spite of our differences. Because we are saying, look, this is a world now of diversity, and there's no way where you can run to say, I want to be in my own little corner where I'm going to be purely homogeneous with people who have my own share the same religious beliefs with me, people of my own ethnic background, and people of my own racial background. It just doesn't work out that way, especially in the cities. And I think even in the villages, in rural areas, you find people from various places living together in the same village, even in a rural setup. Some are migrants, maybe from other countries, the different cultural beliefs. They might even have different religious beliefs. So the whole idea is to say, how can we structure the world in such a way that we are able to live in diversity? Because I'm sure that lack of diversity, as we can see, has caused all sorts of wars. I mean, all these issues, when you look even at this problem, the international problem of global terrorism, when you try to unpack it, when you try to look at it closely, you find that most of it is a lack of appreciation of diversity, when other people feel that they're being maybe discriminated against, or they're being disenfranchised, maybe because of their religious beliefs, maybe because of their racial composition, maybe because of their ethnic composition. They are radicalized. And you know what happens when you are radicalized? People, when you are radicalized, you tend to react in a radical way, in a fundamentalist way. So I believe that once we manage to teach ourselves as global citizens to appreciate diversity, all these various sorts of diversity. I'm sure we should be able to have a more peaceful and a more stable world and a more progressive world. Because lack of tolerance has led to all these other issues where you'll find nowadays, you know, all sorts of challenges, there's xenophobia, and you know, in certain places where if you come from one country and you're in another country, you are hated simply because you come from a different country. And all these are some of the things that I think really the world is faced with, and we cannot run away from that problem. The issue of lack of tolerance has caused so much instability throughout the world. It's not only like in Africa, it's everywhere. In South America, in North America, you know, the problems even in the United States of late, the rise of the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement, which has taken the world by storm. I mean, when you look closely at all these issues, there are issues to do with diversity. How can people be able to live together in peace and harmony, notwithstanding that they are diverse people, they have different maybe, you know, ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, religious backgrounds. So once we have this lack of tolerance, it causes all sorts of problems in all facets of life. It might be, you know, day-to-day life, social interaction, in the world of sports, maybe in the world of business, even religion, the various churches, where you find sometimes where you say, oh, this is more a predominantly black church, and this is a predominantly, white church. But you'll be surprised that all those various churches are all proclaimed to be like Christian churches. But you say, oh, okay, now I'm more comfortable in a church where there are more white people, congregants. I'm more comfortable in the church where there are more black congregants. But all these people who still call themselves Christians, why is there this lack of tolerance? Why is there this appetite for just discriminating against other people? So I'm sure these are the issues that we should look at, folks. And I believe that going forward, we should be able to, as we touch on other subjects on this chat, we should be able to unpack other topical issues. Well, my name is Obert Gutu. I am the senior and founding partner of Gutu and Chikowero, attorneys at law, headquartered here in Harare, Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. I'm also the former Deputy Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs in Zimbabwe. You may want to click the subscribe button after watching this short video. You may also want to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter hashtag is @Gutu_Obert. Official Facebook page is Obert Gutu. You may want to follow me on Instagram, Obert Gutu, on LinkedIn, Obert Gutu. Well, folks, ladies, have a good week ahead of you. Work hard for yourselves, work hard for your families, work hard for your countries, work hard for your continents, work hard for humanity. Salam, asante sana.